Okay, so we were able to save the widgets that we were working earlier to the database. We would like to be able to now be able to read those widgets that are already in the database, right? Load them and then update or initialize our state, right, to start where we left off last time that we were working, right? And so that we don't lose any of the work that we've been working so hard. Okay, so where to do this? Well, one place to do this is perhaps when the component is loaded, right? When this component is first loaded, this is where we would like to be able to retrieve that, right? And typically, one of the best places to do it is in one of the lifecycle functions of a component, right? Unfortunately, this is a stateless component, and it does not have any of the lifecycle functions. Right? It does not have a constructor. It doesn't have a component will load or mount or anything like that. Right? It's just a plain old function. Right? It's just has a plain old function. So to be able to be notified of any of any lifecycle, we need to reconvert this back into just a a component, right? A React component. All right, so let's do that. This will also let us practice a little bit on these components, not just being the stateless components we've been using so far, but an actual React component, right? And see how the syntax is a little bit different. Okay, so we can play with that. All right, so let's convert this into the equivalent React component. Okay, all right, so let's do that. So first of all, this will need to be a class. So it's already broken, right? Or it's already broken. It's not rendering on the client. The class will need to extend the React.component class and have its own body. Yes? It'll have a constructor with its constructor. Okay. It'll have its properties. It'll have to call super props. It'll have to have what else? It'll have to have extends. It will have to have a render function, and that render function will have to have a return. So that's the basics of the template for any component. Yes? So now let's put everything where it goes from what we had here. Okay. All right. Excellent. So let's see. We need these variables. We need these variables. So let's declare them. Okay. Let's see. What else do we need? Here we have the return. We have the return. So let's copy this entire return. There it is. I'm just going to cut it from here. All right. I'm going to remove these curly brackets, and I'm going to put it in this return right there. Everybody okay? All right. What else? These are the properties that are coming, right, as an argument. I won't need them. Right? I just need to know that everything's being passed through the props. Yes? Everything's being passed through the props as opposed to this JSON object. Okay. All right. So let's see what else do we have to do here. Let's see. So here are the props. Here's the onClick that wants to call this function that is being passed to us through the properties. Yes? So it's really where? It's in this .props. Save widgets. Correct? All right. What else? Widgets. That's also being passed to us as a property. Right? So it's this .props. Basically, everything here is just this .props. There is never going to be a this .state, okay? Because we are not maintaining the state. Everything is being passed to us through properties. Okay, so we do not maintain any state. I mean, you could maintain a small piece of state internally, perhaps, and then notify Redux, after you have, a good enough a state. That's a very common thing to do. Maybe you have a very complex form that you want the user to first finish filling out the form, right? And once the form is complete, then take the entire JSON object and submit it, yes, to Redux. So that's a very common, technique. Here we're not doing that. We are actually notifying Redux of every single, keystroke and select dropdown that we select. Yes, all right. What else we have here? Let's see. Widget title. So widget title is right here. Is this widget title, right? So this is going to be this widget title. There it is. This is that widget title. Let's see. It's the same. This dot widget title. Also, we have widget type is also part of this, right? So widget type. This widget type. Let's see. And also this dot widget title. And this is this dot properties create widget, and passing the local widget variable. What else? This dot widget title, widget type. What else? Let's see. This is this dot properties widgets, right? Let's see what else. Index widget type. Delete widgets also in the properties. I think that's it. Let's see our. Okay. All right. So here still complaining that we haven't declared update widget in line 52. So let's see, line 52. Oh yeah, so it's this one, right? It's this dot update widget over here. All these guys, right? Update widget, update widget, update widget. Okay, what else? Complaining. Okay, looks like we were able to successfully change this correctly. Okay, to a regular component. Any questions? All right, let's see if this still works. Okay, so it's still working, right? It still works the way it was before. Okay, everybody good? All right. All right. So now we're free to for instance, do something when the constructor is called. Right? One of the things I would like to be able to do when we are about to be created, right, is that presumably I don't have my state, right? I don't have any state. The reducer doesn't have any state. It should go to the server to fetch that state. Yes, right? So let's do that. And so one way that we could do that is to do the fetch right here, right? And then notify and dispatch an event saying, hey, I just loaded my state. Or we could dispatch an event saying, hey, I don't have any state, right? Go fetch it for me. Right, we could do that. So what we could do is right here, dispatch an event in the properties. Right, props dot load all widgets. Okay, and this will be a function that is passed to us through the mapper, right? The dispatch mapper. Yes. Okay. So let's do that. So the component is inside of a container. So where's the container? Here's the container. And the container is going to provide us with the load, what was it? Load all widgets. Load all widgets. Here it is. Which is going to dispatch. What is it going to do? Here's where we could possibly perhaps load all our widgets. Right? Load all our widgets, pass it to the reducer, and say, hey, here are the widgets, and then the reducer can put it in the state. Right? So let's do that. We can do a fetch right here. We can do a fetch, and fetch all the widgets. We can say localhost 8080 API / widgets. Right? This is going to return a, yes? Yes, everything in the service. Yeah, in the service. This would all live in the service in the same exact service the way we wrote it for courses and modules and whatnot. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yep. All right, so here this would return a promise. And here the promise would return perhaps a response that we're going to parse out. Right? We're going to return the response .json. Right? And then finally we actually have the list of widgets. Presumably now we have all the widgets right here. Right? We have the widget. Once we have the widgets, we can now dispatch an event, right, to the reducer. We can say dispatch, and we can give it a type. We can say the type can be, like you suggested, find all widgets. And we're going to pass the widgets right here. Now, these are the widgets that are coming from the server. Yes? Right? Just to verify that this is actually working, let's actually declare this in the reducer. Let's go to the reducer. And in the reducer, let's listen for that incoming action, find all widgets. And for now, let's return the same state. We're not going to change the state. But just to verify that we're getting the list of widgets, let's do a console log. And presumably, it's right on the action.widgets. Okay? So let's take a look at that. All right, let's refresh the page. Notice that it went out. It went out to the client, to the server. There's our get. See that, our get? Right? It went out to API widgets, but the server is saying there's nobody on the server listening for this get. Right? I went out, but there's nobody there. So on the server, we would need to implement that, right? We need to implement a get mapping mapped to API/widget. That is going to return a list of widgets. So find all widgets. And this can return widget repository .find all. Yes? Okay, and this we'll need a cast. So let's cast that. Let's restart the server. And let's go to the console here. Let's clear that. And I think the server's done. Let's do a refresh. And it didn't print anything. Oh, there it is. There they are. There's our 6 widgets that came from the server, right? We just need to do what? Put it in the state, right? We can put it in the state, right? We just can say, in the client, we can say, return what? Return the widgets are coming now in the action. Widgets. Right? And we don't need this anymore. We don't need this initial state. This initial state could be now just an empty array. Right? The state could be just an empty array. I don't need it anymore because I'm fetching it from the server. Yes? Okay. So let's reload that. Let's refresh. Notice the IDs, 33, 32, 28. Right? These are the IDs that are coming from the server. And notice that it has actually the item elements that were saved earlier, right? And now, if I refresh, right, this is still state that is coming from the server, and I can change it now. I can say, brand new item saved to server, right? And now I can save it. I can save. I can refresh the page, and notice that my brand new item is indeed saved in the server, and I'm retrieving it on the client, and I have my state now entirely synchronized with the server. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, we kind of took like a sledgehammer approach, right, where you save the entire thing. All right. Ideally, you'd be much more granular. And for instance, if you delete an individual list, instead of just removing the entire list, right, and then just reinserting all of them again, except that one, that kind of is kind of a sledgehammer solution. Ideally, you would click on the delete, and you have a delete listener on the server side, right, and you would remove just that one widget. But I'm not going to require that in this assignment, right? This will be fine. Again, if this were the database course, you definitely would be asked to do something like that. All right. Any questions? Okay. All right. So let's play around now, perhaps on being able to manipulate the order of these widgets. Let's take a look at that now.